It's
Sophia,
okay.
can you add me to the stage, the reads admin? So later on I can.
Okay. I can see us now live. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'll just play the music and let's just wait for 12 p.m.
Yeah. Hey, Alex,
How's it going?
we're gonna start in 5 minutes. We're actually live right now, but we're gonna just hang out a little bit, play some music. So the flow is we're gonna talk about a hot deals update first for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll dive into the AMA.
Cool.
You guys got enough caffeine?
No caffeine for me today, but I'm good.
All right.
All right, it's Already, it's exactly 12 p.m. here, August 6th, and it's a great day to start learning and hustling. We have our live viewers from Facebook and YouTube here with us. So, to all watching, we would like to get to know more of you guys. We would like to see where you're coming from also. So, if you could comment, you could engage with us here and just comment where you're watching from. All right. So I see that we have viewers right now. All right. So today is a day of learnings and information with markets and real estate updates. But before that, let's first introduce who we are and what we do in Real Estate IQ. So, to all watching, welcome, and we are Real Estate IQ, a one stop solution to your real estate needs. From customized data to events to real estate education, we have it all here. So, we provide different services, including skip tracing, CRM, virtual assistances, even personal or financial coaching or business coaching. We have it all here. So if you're interested and looking for professional help with your business or with your investing journey with your properties, feel free to contact us after this event or comment your contact information so we could get to you. Okay. So, and speaking of getting started with real estate business, before we dive into what we will be discussing about today in our Deal Winners AMA, I have a little surprise for our dear viewers. So I know that gifts and surprises get us all giddy up. So I have something for you all. I hope that you're excited because I am. So for a little surprise, oh, by the way, we have for the whole duration of the event, we'll be having different surprises planted. So if you're gonna stay throughout the event, then you will know you will get to receive all those gifts that we have prepared for you. But for the first one, we have here something for our dear investors out there, our viewers who are looking for a property. Well, you're in luck because for investors again and buyers, we have here two exclusive and lucrative properties ready to be your winning deal. So we have here properties in San Antonio and yeah, another one in San Antonio. So if you're interested, just comment in our comment section. If you're interested in these properties, just comment deal of the day 1 for the first property in Nina Ridge, or deal of the day 2 if you're interested in our property in Symphony Hill. So it's that easy, guys. You can just comment which property are you interested in, which looks very interesting for you, and of course our team will get right back to you. Just comment your information and how we can contact you. All right, so come on, guys, let's comment. You know, these properties, they are really fresh. They just we've just received this deals, and we're very excited to share this to you. So you're the first ones to get access to these properties. If that's
So
not exciting for you, then yeah.
and Sophia, this is really cool because these are two land deals. So those that are looking into doing new builds, or if you know somebody who are into new builds in San Antonio, which is a growth market, these
Yeah.
could be the right deals for you.
Yeah. So we're expanding, not just properties, not just houses. We're also offering here land. So that's really exciting, Steve. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. So moving forward, we are more than happy to help you guys again with your real estate needs. Again, we are Real Estate IQ, and today we will be joined by real life successful people who are already masters in the real estate field. That's why this segment of our Deal Winners at AMA, we will learn from their strategies and how they manage to journey the real estate world. But before we go to that, today we will also be joined by Steve Liang. Steve, the CEO of Real Estate IQ, to provide their insights on the best and of course, freshest and most accurate data on real estate. In this first segment of our Hot Deals update, we are going to explore trends that are shaping the real estate market today. Of course, to give you guidance and share top market tips to help you on your next investments. So, Steve, hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. So excited to share this second time of the Hot Deals update, and we have made a lot of refinements. And I'm really excited to bring some of these statistics and give guidance to those that are looking for where the next deals are at. So let's get started. Oop. Gotta go forward. Okay, here we go. All right, so we're gonna look at a couple of factors today, okay, to see where all the deals are at. We're gonna look at the supplies, and specifically, we're gonna look at the affordability of the housing market. You know, the home prices and property taxes. And think about this: if there is and I'm sure you have seen kind of the national news that housing is becoming less and less affordable. And so the affordability actually will put a financial pressure for homeowners who may want to get out of the current house that they are staying in. So we're going to look at the supply side, and then we're also going to look at the demand side and where all the foreclosures are at too. So here, you know, we see a chart of the home prices. It continues to soar since the pandemic, and now it's reaching all-time high level in early 2024. And if we kind of look at the home price appreciation in a state-by-state basis, we see that Florida is leading all the states in terms of home price appreciation. You'll also see Idaho and Arizona. On the East Coast, we see the Tennessee, the Carolinas, and New Hampshire. Those are the top states where we see a home price increasing. And of course, when the home price goes up, the property taxes also tend to go up because the taxes tends to be a portion of the home price. And these are the top 5 areas, right? If we're looking at the metro area now that have the highest home price gains, it's led by Kansas City. All these cities, we're seeing about, you know, either double the price or maybe even more. It's led by Kansas City and Kansas, Detroit, St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Dallas. And Alex and Ben, our next speakers, our guest speakers, they are from Dallas. All right, next we are looking at the property taxes. And interestingly, just because the price has increased in those top 5 cities, where they have not topped the top 5 counties, these top 5 areas with the highest property taxes. And we see the top 2 are in New Jersey, also in New York, and then 2 counties in California. We also want to look at the insurance rate. So home insurance rates has gone up a lot. We're actually looking at about a 30% increase since the beginning of pandemic. And all of these increase in affordability in price in homes are, like I said, putting the financial pressure for homeowners to continue to stay in their home. So as real estate investors, you know, these are the factors that we want to pay attention to, and where all the deals are going to be coming at. So from an investing opportunity standpoint, you know, let's look at where the population migration is happening. We see the top 10 on the right side, the top 10 net migration that are positive. It's led by Florida, Texas, and North Carolina. We also see Arizona, Georgia, South Carolina. These are all the top states where most of the United States population are moving to. And we also see, you know, the demand of housing going up in these areas. And you also see that home prices, there's also the pressure of home prices going up in a lot of these states. Next, let's look at the foreclosures. So foreclosure has been dropped since the pandemic because of the forbearance moratorium. And as you can see, in 2024, we are still not back to the pre-pandemic level. And obviously, way off from the 2008 foreclosure crisis. So we see the foreclosures are kind of recovering in terms of number of houses going to foreclosure. But if we look at it a little bit further, the next chart shows us the serious delinquency of mortgages. And that has also been dropping. And we see that as a precursor of how many houses may go into foreclosure that's coming up. And the fact that it is kind of pretty much flat as of change from a couple of years ago, we see that it's kind of around the lowest level in terms of foreclosure. Now that said, there's still micro markets where there are higher foreclosures, and these are the couple of states where we see the highest foreclosure rate. New Jersey has come up in some of the trends we just showed. Illinois, Florida, Nevada, and South Carolina. So those are the markets we're paying a lot of attention to. And then here's another chart that shows the metros that have the highest foreclosure rates. And that's Cook County. Cook County is where Chicago is at, followed by Los Angeles, and Harris County is where Houston is. So we got the top 10 counties of the greatest number of foreclosures. So that's kind of the macro numbers. And we actually also did some research on our own Real Estate IQ foreclosure data. And one of the couple of key questions that we asked in our research is, number one, when we're looking at the foreclosures, what is the equity breakdown? How many of them have a lot of equity? How many of them have kind of middle of the road equity? And how many of them don't have a lot of equity? And maybe we need a creative financing type of acquisition strategy to buy these properties. Well, we just mapped that out. So in the Dallas-Fort Worth, we just picked the Dallas-Fort Worth as the as kind of a pilot market to study. The total equity in 1 month is $90 million. And there are over 800, that's out of over 800 deals in here in this sample size. And we see that about a quarter of those have less than have less than $50,000 in equity. And then kind of the middle of the road between 50K to 200K, that's where the majority of the foreclosures are at. And a small portion have, 230K, 200K to 300K type of equity, or over 300K equity. Next, we also are curious about the interest rate. Out of all the houses that are going into foreclosure, which ones have low interest, or is it high interest that they cannot afford the mortgage payments anymore, and they are now going into foreclosure. So we also did a map and a table. And we find that only 9% of those have less than 3% in interest rate. And a big portion, 39% of those are between 5 to 7% in interest rate. Now we also see 5% of those have more than 7% interest rate. And I would venture to guess that for the high interest rate, they probably were taken out during the past 2 years with the mortgage rate started coming up. And actually, that's exactly what we did. We did another study that looks at the loan or origination of these pre-foreclosures. And this chart may take a little bit to kind of explain. So what we looked at is the different kind of period. So we have before 2005, and between 2005 and 2008, that's where we see a hike in the interest rate. And we find that about 8% of those foreclosures were taken out during that high interest rate time frame. Then between 2000 and 2016, we have really a period of very, very low interest rate. And in fact, there are about 15% of the pre-foreclosures came from that period of the loan being issued. And then we have another period of increase between 2016 to 2020, they're not a big growth. These are not super high interest rates, and 26% of the foreclosures come from that time. And then beyond that, between 2020 to 2022, we have another period of super low interest rate. And in fact, about 26% of the foreclosures, the loan came from that time period. And then we have the last year and a half where we have pretty much a high interest rate environment. And there are 13% of the foreclosures that's happening right now that came from the loans that were originated during that time frame. So we see a lot of about 13% of the pre-foreclosures come from the loans that were originated in the past year and a half. So what I see is that the correlation between high interest rate and leading high interest rate and high home price leading to affordability issues, and now those are leading to the foreclosure issues for these folks. Okay. I think I'm gonna talk about this. If you're interested in getting some pre-foreclosure leads so you can start winning deals, we have a prize for you to get 50 fresh leads for free. All you have to do is to use the chat function and say you want the 50 fresh leads. And what we're gonna do is we'll give you a call, learn about what type of leads you're looking for, and then we'll find those leads, we'll filter out those leads using our portal and send you those sample leads. All right, next I want to jump straight to our next segment, which is our interview with our deal winners AMA, Ask Me Anything. So Ben and Alex are guest speakers today. I want to welcome them on stage. And Alex and Ben started investing and wholesaling starting in March of 2023. So it's been less than a year and a half. And they have done over 50 deals now. During this time, they have generated over $1 million in assignment fees and fix and flip proceeds. And they have also added 11 doors to their rental portfolio. Their backgrounds include finance and door-to-door sales. So welcome, Alex, and looks like Ben may be joining us when he...
Ben's trying to get in the, I think he's stuck backstage because his email wasn't on the, I don't even know. He said he was backstage, so.
Let's see. Well, we can start with you, Alex. So I know your background is in finance. Would you tell us your story? How did you come across real estate investing as a new career?
Yeah, so I started off in finance just directly out of college. Ben was doing door-to-door sales. And through door-to-door sales, there was a lot of guys in there that were trying to invest in real estate or were actively investing in real estate. So he actually bought a house while we were still in school, and he Airbnbs it now. And then kind of didn't really do much the next 2 years other than run that Airbnb. And then we got more into it at the start of last year and just decided to go all in. So we've been doing it full time for over a year now.
So what are you passionate about? Do you see this as a long-term career, or is this something that you see it's something that sets you up from a financial standpoint and you plan on moving on to something else?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say this is definitely the career path we want to be on. Our goals are to just build wealth. So that would be through holding properties, eventually getting into commercial. Right now, we're just doing residential, but we're running a full-on, wholesale investing, flipping operation right now. We have transaction coordinator, a dispo manager. We have a few VAs that we use. So we plan on doing this for the long haul.
Awesome. Okay. And as a real estate investor and practitioner, Alex, what's your outlook of the investment market today? Let's say in Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I assume that's where you guys are active.
Yeah, I mean, everything that we do is off market, so I'm probably not the greatest person to ask about what that looks like. For us, we haven't really noticed really any changes. I mean, we get steady deal flow in DFW, Houston, San Antonio, really anywhere in Texas. I would like the interest rates just to go down a little bit, just because when we're wholesaling, buyers right now tend to be a little bit more wishy-washy than they were last year. So I think that should help. But overall, in terms of deal flow and like the market, we haven't really noticed any downturns. I mean, we have steady deals coming in. So as long as it stays that way, it seems like it's going all right.
And Alex, you're saying, I just want to make sure I heard you right. You said that the buyers are a little more wishy-washy today because of the high interest rate.
Right. Yeah. So like if we're trying to wholesale a deal, or if we have a deal that we're flipping and it's on market, people, at least right now, it seems like they're a little bit more hesitant just because they're going to have to get in. I mean, as you saw in all those charts, houses are more expensive now. And then if you have a 6 or 7% interest rate, your payment's going to be pretty large compared to what it was 2, 3, 4 years ago.
And what are your top 3 ways for sourcing leads right now?
So we have a lot of different stuff. So we use obviously Real Estate IQ. So we use that to text, call, door knock, and then we do Google ads. And then a lot of it is JV partnerships. So we network a lot. If someone needs help closing a deal, we'll close the deal with them and split the profits. But I would say pretty even between, paid ads, JVs, and then just our cold outreach via, phone calls, texting, all that stuff. There's been.
And actually, Ben is joining us right on time. I was just gonna ask about your door-to-door sales and your door knocking operations, because that, from what my understanding, is something that you guys are really good at. So tell us about your operations, and also Ben, since you just joined us, maybe tell us a little bit about your story and your background and how that sets you up to what you guys are doing today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Sorry it was not letting me in earlier for some reason, but it's I came from door-to-door sales, so that's pretty much the only job I've had before being full-time real estate investor. But I started selling security systems and then solar, and then you saw I liked how quickly and how free it is to go get a deal door knocking with everything. So as I was trying to become an investor, I already bought my first property. I was like, I'm going to go find houses in pre-foreclosure. I saw some people were starting to door knock it, and I was like, I'm already knocking all these doors selling solar. Didn't really want to keep doing solar. I was trying to figure out how to get more into wholesaling and flipping and buying more properties. So I got my first probably 4 or 5 deals just from door knocking foreclosures. So we would go to the list that that you guys have put out. I would take a picture of it on Straightaway or Route for Me, and I would build the fastest route, probably like 20 to 25 houses. And then I drive around. I kind of have a little bit of a pitch. Most people in foreclosure are not wanting to sell their house. So we're just coming at it as, hey, we want to show you, have you guys seen all of your options to get it stopped? Or what is your plan? So that way we can obviously lead with service first and see what their goal is, and then show them oftentimes, why maybe none of those options are feasible and why they might need a backup plan to sell it. Sometimes they just want to sell, right? But it's not likely. And then you're leaving a note on every door, and we just go through it as much. I mean, that's how I started out before we had any other marketing, because now we do a lot of different stuff, and we still either have people door knocking that are needing help close deals, or we'll go out occasionally. But it's the best, quickest way to get a deal for free, in my opinion.
So that's door knocking, and Ben, let me ask you this: for somebody who's just starting out, right? They don't know what it's like to do door-to-door sales or door knock. How would you kind of suggest them kind of prepare themselves to get started?
I would say learn a little bit of a script. You want to be yourself, though. If you just make a friend, you don't have to be a killer salesman, right? If you have someone that you can bring a lead to, or someone that can help you get the deal across the finish line, which we help people with all the time, then you don't have to be some sort of expert salesman. Obviously, the more doors you knock, the more comfortable you are. A lot of people are worried because it's scary, and maybe the people are in an uncomfortable situation. But if you can just be local, act like you live right around there, you get the notices sent to you, and I'm just basically help people walk through their options. And then I give people like a basic script of what that looks like, just so they can set an appointment. Yeah. But I would just start out by trying to set an appointment for another person that can help you and partner with them, rather than trying to do everything yourself. And then you'll start to learn, okay, here's maybe the rest of this process, how I can get it closed myself.
And Alex also shared with me in one of our coffee talks that you guys have a special script that actually works very well, and it's about getting papers from the county or something as like a conversation starter. Can you tell us a little more?
Yeah, we have it in like our little community that we have as well, but you can go about it several different ways and play with it. But we kind of knock on the door and say, hey, I'm not selling you anything. I always try to build a relationship. I don't want to talk about their foreclosure right off the bat. I'm talking about their dogs or their car or their yard or whatever we can to build a relationship. But after that, it's like, yeah, actually, I live in this area. We get some of the notices sent to us from the county. It looked like there were some issues with the bank. Have you guys, and I kind of act like a little curious, confused. Like, I'm sure you guys have gotten some notices or maybe some phone calls, and they'll either be, oh, we got it figured out, or they'll say, screw off, or maybe they'll be like, yeah, we're working on it. So that's when we're just like, hey, what is y'all's plan so far? Have you guys heard all the options to get that stopped? And, if they want to hear all their options, I'm walking them through ideally what they can do to keep the house, and most of showing why that may not be feasible if they can't catch up the payment, or maybe they can't get approved of a loan modification. And then, working them through to a backup plan of, if you can't get any of that done, what is your plan? And usually they're, okay, well, we'll have to sell it.
And do they, I'm also curious, are they able to make that conclusion during the same session, or do they like, oh, let me think about it and get back to you, and you have to follow up?
I would say, there's deals we've done where I knock on the door, they told me they had it figured out, and I ended up overcoming it and got inside the house and just closed the deal right there. And then there's a lot of leads where, they're pretty adamant that they're going to have it figured out, and we just say, hey, we'll keep in touch, and you just build a good relationship. And then we put them on like a text campaign, and we just text them like every other day or every week. And then if they don't have it figured out by, come the auction time, we're kind of telling them that clock is ticking. And then we end up maybe getting that deal 3 weeks later. Or, obviously there's a lot of people they don't do anything, right? So it definitely depends. You have to have really good follow-up though, because a lot of these people, won't do anything until they have to.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of follow-up, how does your follow-up system look like? You talk about texting campaign. Is that an automated campaign, or do you text one by one?
We usually put them into our CRM system, and then we have an automation set up. So it can text them we have it set up for like every couple of days. And then we have an automated message like, hey, it looks like, I forget what we have put in there, but basically like something regarding the foreclosure. Have you guys been able to get any answers back from the bank? Are you guys, it starts changing as it gets closer. So if they're not answering us, it's like, are you just going to let it go to foreclosure? Kind of just like pressing it a little bit more with some pleasant persistence.
A little bit more urgency.
Right.
In your message. And what are some of the biggest challenges you guys have come across in buying deals?
With like door knocking or foreclosures or?
Yeah, your choice.
Yeah, I'd say foreclosures is just, there's always some crazy stuff that can happen. So you just don't expect everything to be a breeze when you get a deal under contract. There's people that stop answering us. There's people that file bankruptcy, and then the deal goes sideways, or maybe there's, someone that died and you got to have heirship documents. So there's always problems that have to be solved, but they are some of the best deals that we get. So whenever they do get across the finish line, it's usually a really big payout.
It sounds like, Ben, that there's also some story there. Is there a story that, like a case study you would tell us?
Yeah. One of our last houses that we just got, we actually flipped this property. We do a lot of wholesaling. We have rental properties as well, but this one was in Garland area, and we knocked on the door. She didn't answer. We left a note, and she called back. I went over there the next day, ended up getting it under contract, but it was a big inheritance thing. She couldn't get the house into her name from her spouse that had passed away. So we had to hunt down 2 siblings that her husband, or that passed away, his 2 siblings that she hasn't talked to in 25 years, had no contact information. So I had to find their email and phone number, get a hold of them to sign the deed over to her before the foreclosure. And then, we were able to close it right at the buzzer before the foreclosure happened, and then ended up flipping it, and it was a big deal. Like I think it was like a $50,000-$60,000 profit.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And that's, kind of hunting down, family members or like skip tracing family members. That's also a big deal. I see a lot of investors are, let's say you get some kind of interest and then you can't reach them anymore. Or like you just cannot find the right email or phone number to reach them. What would you kind of do in that case? Like, what is there some tool that you guys use for, say, skip tracing or whatnot?
Usually, y'all's list is really good with all the relatives, contacts, and phone numbers on there. But we just did like a True People search because it has all those acquaintances and everything as well. So you'd be surprised. I mean, if you start going through that, we went on Facebook too, found their Facebook profiles. We used everything, but yeah, True People search is easy. And then all your list of all the, spouse names, relative contacts, you just start calling them until you can figure out who has the right contact information of the people that you need.
Yeah, I feel like, in you're basically putting on a private investigator hat and just like trying to find out who it is. Like, okay, maybe it's this last name, maybe it's the wrong last name, and then doing all kinds of research to find out more about the person and the property itself.
Right.
Hey, so guys, tell me about your first deal. And Ben, I think you kind of started off about to share with us that you said your first 4 or 5 deals are coming from door knocking. Tell us about that first deal. I'm sure it's like the most special deal for you.
Yeah.
Tell us the story there. How do you find it? How do you fund it? How much do you make?
Yeah, it was just same thing off Real Estate IQ, pulled a list. It was, I was doing door knocking for 2 to 3 weeks and just doing it 5 days a week while I was supposed to be selling solar. I was kind of just doing it while I was knocking, and found a guy's house. Old dude answered, and he was facing foreclosure in about a month. He was he was kind of funny. He just came out and was talking to me, but his wife unfortunately passed away. He was behind like $8,000 in the payments. The house was a wreck. They lived there for 25 years, and he just knew that he was probably going to have to sell it. He didn't even necessarily say it. I was like, hey, like we can walk you through all these options and make sure, you don't get foreclosed on. I'd never done a deal before. So I just set the appointment for one of our, mentors that kind of showed us this, someone that had been closing a lot of deals. And I just brought him over there the next day. We walked him through everything. He realized, that he had to sell because he couldn't come up with the money. And the house was a mess. So we got it under contract, got him a little bit of money, but I didn't think we were going to make much on it because I just had never seen a house that bad and I didn't know what it was really worth. But we ended up got it under contract for about 110, and we found a buyer at 150. So we made $40,000, and I split that with my partner that helped me close it.
Nice.
So we wholesaled it. We didn't actually have to, we didn't want to buy it. It was a mess.
That sounds like a really sweet first victory to get you guys going too.
Absolutely. Yep.
So fast forward to today, what does your marketing pipeline look like now? And tell us about your marketing system. I know you shared a little bit about that earlier.
Yep. We do Google ads. We have a lot of people that bring us, they need help closing a deal. So they'll either get them on the phone with someone on our team and we'll help them close it. Or maybe they got it under contract and they can't find a buyer. So we help people find the buyers because we have a huge buyer network. We do deals all across Texas. And so we get a lot of deals that way. We also door knock occasionally. We have a texting campaign that we're sending out. We have a virtual assistant that kind of qualifies the lead to set the appointment for us. So we have a little bit more marketing now for inbound leads versus just cold calling or door knocking. But we still get leads door knocking, whether it's us or someone that was, bringing us the lead.
And are you guys solely marketing to the pre-foreclosure list, or do you also do the other lists?
We text pre-foreclosures, but we also text like high equity absentee owners and just like blast out a bunch of text to different motivated lists, code violations, different things like that. And then we pay for, marketing for like our website and Google ads for people to inquire that just want to sell their house quick.
Yeah, I heard you guys are doing pretty well with your Google Ads website too. So for the pre-foreclosures, do you blast all of them, or do you actually filter? And if so, what kind of criteria do you use?
We
We
usually
try not.
filter by area.
Yeah,
You filter
I'll
by area.
go into that a little bit more, but
Yeah,
try
we
not
just
to-
go for Ben.
I would say we try to cross off some if they like just bought the house or if it's on the market.
Yeah, when we're pulling from y'all's site, I mean, I just cross out areas like all those counties down closer to Mexico. We try to avoid those just because most of the time we don't speak Spanish, so it doesn't. A lot of times we get them on the phone, we can't speak Spanish, and then we try to avoid, maybe way out in the country, so a little bit closer to bigger hubs.
Bigger hubs. Okay, that's kind of where you guys focus on.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a question somewhere. Let's see. There was a question that just popped up.
Yeah, I can see him. Reese. It looked like Reese was asking some questions.
Let's try this one. So people that sell houses are going to use a realtor, and we usually use off-market deals. Or do you go to MLS yourself? I'm guessing this question is asking, do you also use the MLS for deals too?
We will do what we call a novation and list houses sometimes to find retail buyers, but now we don't find deals on the MLS because we use all these off-market strategies for people that need to sell it quick, and we're getting them at more of a discount versus someone that you're going to find on the MLS has more time and they're probably asking too much money.
Mm-hmm. So how about this one? If I decide to flip, what would be the best way to identify a contractor? Like, what would be like your criteria to find the contractor? Do you interview?
Yeah, I would definitely go with someone that referred it. Like, you could call any realtor in the area, and a lot of them have worked with investors if they're experienced. So find one that's worked with a lot of investors in the area, and they'll probably have a contractor. That's what we did on our last flip. And again, we don't flip a ton. We do a lot of wholesaling, and then we do rentals too. But I called the realtor in that area. She's like, yeah, it's the contractor I've used for the last 10 years. It was a smaller town, and I was like, perfect. He was nice. We talked to him on the phone, and he got it all done. So I call realtors and find one that I like, or other investors in that area. You could go to Facebook groups. But I think if you use someone that was referred by someone else, then they'll at least have a little bit of a reputation.
Use referrals, and I guess especially if the person you refer them to already use them and have worked with them.
Right.
Let's see. What are some? This is a fun one. What are some bad recommendations you have heard when it comes to real estate investment? What have you heard? What kind of thing have you heard that just absolutely didn't work?
Didn't work. Trying to think.
Like, don't do it. It's a bad recommendation.
I honestly think the recommendation of just like looking for slightly more distressed houses on the MLS is a bad recommendation. Just a huge waste of time.
Waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, you can get deals on the market. It's just going to be way harder because every single person could have already put an offer or seen that deal.
I see. So less competition off market, and probably more distress. So now, okay, maybe let me, before I just make that blanket statement, how many of your properties that you guys are working on now, how many of them have multiple offer situations? Or are you guys usually the only ones they're talking to?
They've usually talked to people. A lot of times they may be spoken about getting offers, probably like, a good amount. But once you get on the phone with them, it's all about building rapport and trust. So they've almost always at least engaged a conversation in the past, or maybe gotten an offer, but the person either fell through because they're a wholesaler and they didn't perform, or it wasn't an offer that they made sense, or maybe they didn't trust them, or it wasn't the right time. So it's just kind of like all timing and building enough trust with them.
I would say too, a lot of people say they have offers, and I'm like, great. Did they send you like a contract or anything? They're like, oh no, it's verbal. I'm like, okay, that's not really an offer because you can't sign anything verbally.
Right. And speaking of these kind of objections, what would be? Could you give us your favorite example of an objection and how you would handle them?
Favorite objection or the most common?
Sure.
I would just say I love when you're knocking a door and they're like, "Oh, I got it covered." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. Like, how do you mean?" And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna pay it back." You're like, "Okay." Like, kind of dig deeper. Like, how are you gonna do that? And they're like, "Well, our reinstatement's $20,000 and we have like 2,000 saved up." And I'm like, "Okay, so you're gonna get $18,000 in the next week?" Then you kind of just go from there. So I like that we got it covered, and then they kind of tell you within the next 2 minutes that they definitely do not have it covered.
Yeah, the best way to overcome any objection, because every single person, especially if we're talking door knocking or on the phone, they're going to try and get you off the phone or off the door immediately. So they're doing like we call it like a smoke screen. They're just trying to get you gone.
Yeah.
So if you just you have to agree immediately with every objection. A lot of people that aren't in sales or have never done this, they try and overcome the objection, but now you're arguing with them and they just put more of a guard up and you lost the battle. So it's like if they say we have it covered or we're working with our lender or we're doing this, we're doing that, you have to agree with them immediately. So it's like, perfect. That's awesome. Like, sounds like you're working with your lender. You can repeat it back to them. And then you ask them a question, which will keep them talking. And then you can transition into something else. So it's like, okay, you got it covered. That's awesome. Like, did you guys do a loan modification or are you paying it back? And now they're going to answer that. Well, we're trying to do a loan modification. And then you can dig deeper into that. Like, okay, are you familiar with how that works? A little bit, and then it's like, okay, do you know how to get approved? What happens if you don't get approved? So you can just start digging deeper, but you can't get there if you're just like, we got it covered. Do you?
So
why do you have it covered? Or you just start attacking them, then they're not gonna. You have to agree with them first.
So this is actually a really good sales technique, and thank you for sharing, Alex and Ben. We're talking about we don't argue with them, but agree and ask them questions and help them realize what they need to know or what they should know.
Absolutely.
So let's switch gear a little bit. What are some biggest pain points in your business today?
I think just the ebbs and flow of just dealing with title work and deals that sellers that can go sideways, just making sure you're on constant communication. At first it was you have some deals that fall through, obviously, especially if you're talking to foreclosures or any deal, there's always problems. So having a system in place where now we have a transaction coordinator that stays on top of a lot of the communication with the seller and the title company. Because that can take up a ton of time if you don't have someone, tracking that.
So having somebody who can shepherd that deal and kind of make sure that deal doesn't fall through, that's the most crucial part for your business today.
I'd say that's a big part, yeah. Finding buyers. We have a disposition guy that, utilizes that. If you're brand new, I would probably partner with people to find a buyer too, because a lot of people don't have a big, network for that.
Thank you. Well, our time is up. Thank you so much for sharing your lessons and being a part of this AMA, Alex and Ben. I also want to share that with Alex and Ben, we are working on publishing a class on door knocking. And so if you're interested, make sure you let us know and we'll get it cranked out shortly. Ben and Alex, is there anything you guys want to share with our audience and the world today?
If they want to reach out or see some of the stuff we post, I'm REI Closers is our brand. My Instagram is benjensen.rei. But we have a lot of that on Instagram. We post a lot of the content, and then we have a school community that's just called Wholesale Real Estate. So we teach some of that stuff. We have those scripts in there, but yeah.
So you guys are also sharing your lessons and growing your community. So what's the best way to reach out to you guys?
I think Instagram is probably the best for me. Other than, going to that school group, that's always good too. So Wholesale Real Estate on school, and then Instagram, benjensen.rei.
Yeah, mine's the same, just alexjensen.rei.
Cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate you both. And we'll stay in touch and we'll bring you to our audience in other occasions very soon.
Thank
So
you.
just a quick reminder
Yeah.
for everybody, we have a survey for this Deal Winner AMA. We want to learn from you what kind of content you're looking for and how can we improve our content and what we bring to you. So go ahead and fill out this survey and for a chance to win your special prize. So we have the link here on the comment section. And so that's all we have today. Thank you for joining us. We also have a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok that you can follow. And that's on our next slide. And for those of you that are joining us, maybe not live, plenty of links here, plenty of resources for you to learn how to win deals and make deals. And continue to follow us on our future events and all the new products and services that we have to help you win more deals. So appreciate y'all and have a great day, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you.
week. Cheers.